Hey guys, this is Allie Greenstone from Mary's Medicinals. I'm here with Chad Drew. This is Pot Talk on World Viral TV.
All right, Music Buzz Live. We're here in studio. My name's Moose. We got Chad Drew. We got CT. Chad H has joined us. He's in the house right now.
What up, Chad? Got two Chads in the house.
We got two Chads in the house. That's how you know things are going good.
Too many Chads.
Hey, what segment is this?
This is Pot Talk, brought to you by Colorado Harvest Company. Yeah.
Pot Talk.
Herbal Health Systems.
This is what happens when our producer starts rapping.
Extract crap.
Where we talk about pot. Talk. Talk about pot.
So we've got Stuart Fortier from Mass Roots in the house. We've been trying for so long to get these guys in, and they're here. And Chad Drew literally has not shut up about Mass Roots for like the last year and a half.
I'm fucking geeked that I got them here, dude.
Take it
totally
away,
geeked.
my friend.
What's up, man?
I was excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Dude, totally. I've totally reached out to your whole squad, man, dude. I know you guys are busy as shit, but blowing it up in Denver for Denver. What's up?
Yeah, absolutely. We're Denver-based. We moved the company out here to be in what we think is the best industry. So that's why we're here.
Where were you guys at originally?
We were in Virginia, which
Virginia,
is
okay.
essentially a
That's a long
police
way away.
state when it comes
Yeah.
to cannabis. So
Yeah.
you do not want to build a cannabis company in Virginia.
Okay.
It's crazy to me because the cannabis industry affects a lot of different things. If you guys aren't familiar with Mass Roots, you need to be. It's a social media strictly for cannabis. Obviously, some of your competitors like Facebook and Instagram, you guys will obviously see some pictures. But Mass Roots is like a whole community. They have a hashtag MassFam. You all support each other. It's like a band following, dude. You know.
Yeah, that's our big appeal. You don't, grandma's on Facebook. You don't want to post your
Yeah,
bong picture there.
totally.
So come to Mass Roots, share it with the Mass fam. Since the first day we launched, that's been the big appeal. It's like this homey community that people really connect over this one common interest.
Can you walk us through just briefly, because I'm sure it's real in depth and none of us are coders here, but walk us through the process of setting up a social media network and kind of how you took it from an idea to something that's live that people can actually sign up for.
Yeah, so that story starts 2 years before Mass Roots when I taught myself how to code.
Okay.
Which is why the first few years of Mass Roots, it was a very horrendous app. Yeah. It's starting to get much better now,
Yeah.
but in the beginning, I was a kind of early stage amateur.
Okay.
Taught myself how to code, and my buddy Isaac, who's CEO, kind of came to me with the idea and was like, I want to build this community for cannabis enthusiasts. Like, there's this clear trend of legalization happening, and there's all these people that really want to share about cannabis but don't want to do it where their boss can see it, don't want to do it where grandma can see it.
Yeah.
So like, let's build this thing. So a month and a half later, we were launching an iPhone app. Again, total piece of garbage, but what was so cool is that we had the Mass fam getting on it, and despite the fact that the app was so buggy and the fact that it was built by someone who was very new to software development,
Yeah.
people just got on and were like, these are my people, this is my community, I really want to share on this platform. I don't really give a shit if it loads half the time.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be a part
Not
of this
that there's
family.
ever any bugs or glitches within Mass Roots.
Yeah, that's right. It's now a perfect product.
Okay.
I'm sitting here picturing Mark Zuckerberg, what is it, Jesse, the dude from the social network, and he's sitting there doing an algorithm on his fucking window at Harvard or something. Is that kind of how it went down?
It's kind of like A Beautiful Mind, but there was a little bit more smoke pouring out of the windows than there was Sharpie on the glass. Yeah, so
sick.
some hybrid.
And
Right
now you guys have grown it with a big push here in Denver to be the first publicly traded cannabis. You can actually
Yeah.
buy stock.
I
in
bought
Mass
some of
Roots.
your stock. I'm
awesome.
an owner. I'm an owner of some
Okay.
Mass Roots stock.
Okay, well then shit, we need to get you a shirt at least.
Right?
Yeah.
I totally tried. I
Good.
went to Scottrade. They asked me where I get my income from. I said it was cannabis based, and they told me they didn't want to work with me.
No
Really?
kidding.
I'm not
They
even
shut
shitting
you out.
Yeah, dude. So
Yeah.
now I have to have my girlfriend, who it doesn't make, my fiance doesn't have her money come in from cannabis, and so she's gonna buy some fucking stock for
No
me. dude.
way.
Yeah,
So you
totally.
gotta have the
That's so crazy, right?
Yeah, that's I'm sure you guys have heard the phrase, but canna bias is kind of what we use. Like every time we have some issue, just because we're cannabis related,
Right.
It's like there's kind of the canna bias in effect, and we've had it with the public markets. We've had it with really simple things like our email vendor, like Mailchimp.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a weed company? They shut us down. We're like, what in the world? Banks shut us down.
Right.
So that touches every single side of the spectrum. It's
Yeah.
wild.
What about family? I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
you grew up in Virginia. It sounds like, dude? What did mom think? How's the family reacting? Like,
So mom is a lawyer, which means that when I first told her that we were going to go build the Facebook of weed, she naturally had some questions.
Yeah.
Dad had a little bit more fun in his heyday and had a few less questions and a few more questions on how he could sign up for an account.
Go, Dad.
Grandma and Grandpa had the most questions, but they now are so comfortable with it that, they're clipping out, newspaper articles about the industry. And I think that they've come around to realize, I'm not ever going to be a consumer, but like now I kind of understand what cannabis is and what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's weird. What I always tell people is like everyone that I've told about Mass Roots, even way back in the beginning, the people that you think will be the most shocked actually end up the people who kind of turn around the quickest.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. Like they're like, oh, weird. Yeah, like I don't personally use it, but like I have a cousin who's a grower out in Colorado.
Right.
And like I see the opportunity. It sounds really cool. You're like, man, I wouldn't have thought like the Mormon guy would have said that. Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
It's crazy actually working in the shops and bud tending who comes in. Like I've had some, local famous people or some regularly famous, people come in and
Exactly.
you're like, holy shit, dude, you smoke weed? That's fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That's what's cool about being here. It's like I don't think there's one like stereotypical user where you go into the dispensary and you've got, young guys going in there in their 20s, but you've also got some guy in a business trip going in and enjoying
Totally.
it for the first time in 20 years. So there's not like one stereotypical like that's your cannabis consumer. It's this huge spectrum.
It's
Right.
been cool to watch kind of some of the stereotypes fall away, honestly, of
Definitely.
pot users. As it becomes less of a thing for people to like come out as a pot smoker. It's interesting to see, like when
Agreed.
it was up on the ballot for legalization in 2012. There's people like my parents voted for it, despite the fact that they're not. Well, my mom is now getting into the medical, but that's
yeah, she is.
that's another story.
Yeah, wink,
But-
wink, medical.
They're not pot smokers, but they don't see any. They're progressive enough people that they know that the money is going to the right places.
Right.
And it's doing people more good than any
Exactly.
harm.
Yeah, and I think people are slow, like the older generation, if you will, are waking up and they're saying, this isn't the devil's lettuce. This
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
Yeah, they're learning
Like-
how to put that taboo away.
Yeah, exactly. And they're realizing, like, well, man, like, this is just a good night's sleep, or now I don't have to take my prescription painkiller.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why was I against this before?
So as far as building a company and putting it out there and taking reactions, whether it's even beyond family or media, what are some of the pushbacks that you guys have dealt with?
Yeah, so
I mean, I've read some of the articles. And I just want to get your perspective on some of the legal and other outlets that are coming at you guys.
Yep. So I think that building a startup in the cannabis industry, building a startup in general sucks and is very difficult. So you're always going to face these big challenges regardless. But I think building it in this industry, it's almost like it's 20% harder than a
Yeah.
lot of other industries. It's like this premium gets put on it where, like I said, a bank will shut you down out of the blue because, oh, you touch cannabis, like no chance, we're working with you. Simple stuff like your email provider is like, nope, we don't want to work with a cannabis company. But our biggest David and Goliath moment was probably when Apple, after being live for our app was live for about a year, actually removed us from the App Store. And it was out of the blue. We got this call from an Apple reviewer, and they basically said, we're not cool with cannabis tech anymore. We're not cool with cannabis social networking applications, which, of course, we were really the only one.
Definition.
Right.
Yeah.
So it kind of almost seemed like a little bit of a targeted hit. But anyways, we get yanked from the App Store. And again, most of our users are on iOS at the time. And like that was where all of our momentum was. And like when you're a social networking app for mobile phones, like what do you do when you're not on the App Store on mobile phones?
Totally.
So we kind of naively thought we'd be able to kind of argue our way in and explain our business and like why we should be allowed back in. Made some small changes to the app, hoping that would do it. But after 2.5 months, it was clear that Apple was saying, no way, you're done, no cannabis social. So we're like, okay, well, the one thing we do have going for us is the Mass Fam, is our community of people who fucking support us no
Hell
matter
yeah.
what. Yeah,
Damn
and
straight.
exactly. And it's amazing. Like I don't think we were fully aware of how strong the community was prior to this happening. But we turned to them. We're like, do you guys mind emailing Apple and telling them like why you love Mass Roots, why you think it's useful, and why you would like to see it back in the App Store and on your phone? So over at the time we had like 175,000 users or so, and over 10,000 of them personally emailed Apple.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
10,000 people.
Right?
Yeah, so they were saying the whole range of reasons, like, this is my support network. You know, I suffer from depression. This is
Yep.
my support network. To like, you know, I legalized this in my state. How can you say that I can't have a software service for this industry?
Right.
All the spectrum of reasons, all the reasons people use Mass
You
Roots.
see that, dude. The Mass family understands that this is a revolution within the nation,
Exactly.
you know, within the world, really. And there is a lot of support within him, dude. He's totally right. I've
insane.
seen depressed posts, and there's like 50 freaking posts
Oh,
after, like,
yeah.
dude, why are you depressed, dude? Go get a good sativa, man. No,
Right,
you know, like-
right. I'm here for you. That's like, I think, been one of our superpowers from the very beginning. Was like, we just had this community that was super supportive of each other, and then even of us. So like when we had these big do or die moments, these David and Goliath moments, we're like, well, the one thing we have going for us is this like community of people that really like feel a connection to Mass Roots, feel a connection to each other.
That's sick.
So yeah, so that's, you asked like, what are all the roadblocks we've hit? You know, at every step of the way, Apple being the most dramatic example, we've been able to overcome it because of the community and support we have from the users.
Right
Which
on,
is pretty
man.
cool, pretty rare.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
Yeah.
These guys make fun of
Okay.
me for being part of the Mass family. I
Let
say,
him
fuck
hate.
these guys. What the hell?
Let
No.
him hate.
Chad's bud tender to the stars, man. He's had
I
an account
am.
for a while.
Hashtag Bud Tender to the Stars. I actually put up a couple of posts so that the Mass
Yep.
fam could actually ask you a couple of questions, and I wanted to get into a couple of them.
Let's go, yeah.
My first question is, do you think you're ever going to ring the bell on Wall Street?
Oh man, so I can't make any forward-looking statements, but obviously that would be a desirable thing.
That'd be sick, right?
That would be super exciting. For us, that would be a big statement for the industry and where it's headed. Like, we really feel obligated to be, you know, spearheading the way, and like we really want to be the company that has these big monumental moments.
Right.
So the short answer is that'd be pretty fucking cool.
Someone's got to.
Yeah.
Someone in the cannabis industry will be the first.
It'll happen.
Exactly.
It'll happen, man.
So aside from all of the congrats on how good you guys are doing, stepping up the games, and thanks for all of the support and all you do for us, there was a lot of that. Couple of crazy questions. So what is Mass Roots' true agenda, and do you think that you're reaching your intended audience?
Yeah, so I think that's an awesome question. Actually, I saw the thread and thought that one really stood out. So right now we're focused on the niche kind of enthusiast market. So the people who are, we polled our users and we asked them, how often do you consume cannabis? It's kind of a small sample of our users. How often do you consume cannabis? And 54% of them said every day.
Right.
And 35% of them, I think I'm getting these numbers right, 35% of them
Roughly,
said
right? Okay.
all day, every day. So like
Jesus, so that's like 90-some% right there.
Right. So these are not like I go to the dispensary once a month and whatever.
Right.
These are people who are really in it. They might grow. They
Yeah.
might, they might do extractions themselves. Like, they're really passionate about cannabis. So that's who we've currently captured. So the question is like, is that ultimately like your target market? And I think the nut that we have to crack is, how do we make something that's still really appealing to the hardcore enthusiasts, but also can reach a much broader
Right.
audience?
There's a huge spectrum there.
Bingo, where it's like, yeah, right now, if you're some guy who goes to the dispensary, like I said, once a month, once every other month, and you get on Mass Roots, you're probably going to be turned off. You're going to be like, yeah, I don't grow, so I
Yeah,
don't need
I'm
to see
not
these
as into
photos.
this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't need to be a part of the Mass fam because I'm not like an enthusiast.
Right.
So they're not going to find it all that appealing. But we've identified a huge problem in the industry with products and with cannabis strains and products kind of in general, where there's really no good information on them. And a lot of people who are novices have no freaking clue
Right.
kind of what they're going in to get. And what's really cool about the Mass Roots community is that everyone is always sharing about, like, just got this awesome strain from this dispensary,
Right.
had these effects, like I really loved it, I'd recommend it, like, for these reasons, or hey, don't buy this strain, or don't buy this edible product, it's totally unpredictable, like, had a really bad experience.
Makes sense, dude.
Yeah, so like all of that is really useful information for a much broader audience. So eventually that's where we want to go, but we want to stay focused on really like making sure we do it thoughtfully and
Right.
keeping the core enthusiasts.
There
Yeah.
definitely are those tools, man, and it's amazing how just a simple social media platform can help in so many different ways. So
And that's really the crux of it. Like for us, anybody could go out and build, say, like a strain review app or something, or like a dispensary finding app or whatever.
not that there is any of those out there.
Wink,
Fuck,
wink.
dude.
Yeah, like every other day one
Yeah, yeah.
launches. For us, it's like, cool, that's all nice, but first and foremost, we need to build a community. And then those things can be features on the application.
Right.
And we have a user base that we start with.
How about blogging and running more like journalism style articles through Massroots, like as maybe not necessarily in a statement of Massroots' opinion on something, but just as something that's a little more
Cool.
formal for somebody outside the industry to look at and maybe
Yeah.
be drawn in.
So it's tough to say exactly where in the product we could do that like tastefully. But what we've done, and I'm sure you guys have stumbled across it occasionally, but we have a really active blog on the Massroots site, which is where we do anything from like, here's how to clean glass up to like, here's new legalization efforts happening in Ohio
Okay,
or something.
cool.
So we try to intentionally make those about like what new relevant information people should know about, or like, hey, it's your first time in Denver. Like here's kind of a great cannabis experience you could have. Here's some activities you could do legally and safely.
Okay.
Again, all the way to the niche enthusiast. Here's how to grow. Here's some grow tips. So we've used that to like really help inform people.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
making the on the topic of making the app and it run better a little bit. Obviously, there's been a lot of problems.
Yep.
So they want to know when are you going to fix all the problems. They also want to
Yep.
know, is there ever going to be direct messaging? Is there ever going to be no cropping of pictures? And is there ever going to be zoomable pics?
Zoomable photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last two, I'll answer first. When we originally started, we weren't reinventing the wheel. We were kind of like, we want people to get on Massroots and kind of already understand how to use it.
Right.
So we modeled a lot of what we did kind of off of Instagram, for example, really simple sharing photos, sharing text,
Yep.
which is more like Twitter. But we really wanted people to get on Massroots, immediately see the interface and be like, cool, I know how to use this.
Very much.
without
Simple.
thinking twice. Exactly. So that's why we have things like requiring you to crop the photo so it fits in with our design schema, and not being able to zoom. We don't do a tap and zoom yet. We've just kept it simple. Those are certainly not ruled out for the future. But up until now, we just wanted to make something that right when people came in, cool, I know how to use this. There's no bells and whistles
Totally.
really.
Well, and
Okay.
when you're trying to
Simple.
cover a full spectrum from the monthly smoker or the biannual smoker to the every freaking day all the time user, you got to make it appeal to everybody.
That's
So-
what I mean. So you want to find a happy medium where it's not bloated because you're trying to make it appeal to everybody, and it's not too dumbed down to where it turns people off. So the fixing the bugs question is a good one, because I hope people have noticed less bugs in the last few weeks. And performance increases and a lot of big things. We
Yes.
recently finished up, and it was a long project, but a big migration over to a much better back-end system. We have a really amazing new leader on the technical team who's been making some massive changes.
Very cool.
The team's been busting ass because, like I said in the beginning, we were the lean startup hacking together an app, moving as quickly as we could,
Right.
and we just didn't have the luxury of a really strong, competent, large dev team. We had, a couple guys in a garage, basically,
Right.
frantically coding away at the wee hours. So I hope,
Startup story.
yeah, it really is. And I hope that anybody who's been on the app will notice a higher velocity of improvement.
I think
it's
so.
certainly not perfect yet, but we're really making strides.
I think so.
Yeah,
So messaging. Any chances of messaging?
So yes, messaging. It's top secret. our product pipeline. It is certainly not ruled out.
Right.
But we have a few new features coming out in the next few weeks that are going to be really exciting. And messaging is something that's been one of the most requested features by our user base. That's like one of our number one most requested features. So we haven't ruled it out, but there are a handful of things we really want to get out the door.
Right.
In the meantime. So
Well, you kind of
it's
gotta
also-
kind of balance on the rope, because if you're appealing to everybody and you want to make it cool, make it simple, they're like two of the problems that were brought up in another question is the spamming of like free bongs, but then
Yep.
also
Yep.
like these dudes that are in states that are not supposed to be advertising, and they're like,
Bingo.
"Yo, I got like ounces, dude. Hit me up. I'll come deliver it to
Bingo.
you." Like that's rough.
Is that-
dude.
is there-
It
is that a
happens.
problem
Yeah,
on there
dude.
a
I
lot?
get it all
We've
the time.
seen it.
I'll post up a picture and it'll be like, "Oh, that's a sick ass strain. Like you should hit me up. I'll bring you some." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
dude?
so with direct messaging, what we're doing is we're making sure all of our spam filters, all of our auto reporting, everything we do to flag that sort of content,
Right.
and remove it if
Yeah.
we, as soon as we find it or as quickly as we find it. We want to make sure that's in order before somebody can have a private conversation, because we really want to be proactive about compliance. Like, we monitor all the legal activity and try and get it down as soon as we can. What's cool about Massroots is that people on the app report it really quickly.
Right.
So they'll be like, hey, this isn't the place for that. They'll comment on it, like, go the fuck somewhere else. Like, go to
dude.
Craigslist or something.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
dude.
this is like not the place to do that. And they'll report it to us, and we'll immediately flag it. We auto report keywords. We have a support team that constantly monitors the
That's
app.
awesome.
So we're trying to be proactive, but with direct messaging, we really want to make sure like no one's gonna harass anybody. There's no illegal activity.
Right.
We want to like really have all those screws tight before. Yeah.
Right
for
on.
Anything like that.
Very
yeah.
cool, Stuart. I totally
Yeah.
appreciate you
Yeah.
being around, man.
Fuck yeah.
Excited. Massroots. Go make an account. Check us out. You can follow me, Bud Tender to the Stars. Always fun. Always fun to have
Absolutely,
good pictures
man.
up, dude. Get
Hell
some mass
yeah.
love, dude.
Oh yeah, right on.
Have
So-
you guys heard
Yeah.
any hookup stories through Massroots?
We have had a marriage on Massroots.
Really?
Which is
Wow.
pretty exciting. All right. We need to track them down. But we had a marriage on Massroots, and we have had countless people that have started dating by meeting on Massroots. Hey, you're up in Boulder? Me too. Like, we should smoke sometime. All the
Yep.
time.
Right
Happens.
on.
So,
It's insane.
It's cool.
Stuart.
Stuart Fortier.
Alright.
Fortier.
Oh yeah, I
You
was gonna
got the
say
French
Frontier.
down.
I was gonna say Frontier.
Frontier.
Right on. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. We look forward to getting you back down again in the future. This is Music Buzz Live. Make sure you check out all of our back content at worldviral.tv. Stick around. We'll be right back with the Arise Festival crew. Cheers.
This is Chloe. Check out Screaming for Silence's new music video, The King is Crowned, only on World Viral TV.
I know I'll make no retreat, no giving in. You try, but you're gonna fail.